Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, y'all. I am a little under the weather, so excuse me if my voice sound raspy. What's going on? Happy Wednesday. Y'all know I'm up here at 9 p.m. for Survivor Chats and Women Supporting Women Wednesdays. So I thought I'd get up here a little bit before the first live of the year. Okay, Happy New Year to everybody. Let me first say that. I have not had a live since 2025. Okay, since last year, excuse me. What's going on? So I wanted to get up here and go, talk about the cards again and play Happy New Year. Play the card game and talk about the cards that just dropped. So y'all that do not have the cards, I have Survivor Circle, my mental health card game that dropped during Black Friday at the holidays. So the cards are in. So go get the cards if you do not have it at www.averyproctor.com and click on shop, and then you'll see all the merch come up. But these are the mental health cards. Great for family night, game night, date night. Just get the conversation started. So tonight I wanted to get up here and talk about the cards, talk about event I have coming up for February. I cannot wait to officially announce the event for February where I'll be selling merch. I'll be selling my cards. I'll be selling my books, and just mingle and eat and have a good time, and just conversate and just have a good night. I have an event that's going to be in February. Hey, boo. So, y'all stay on the lookout. I'll be dropping that in the next week or so, making sure all the logistics are together. But y'all stay tuned for more information on that. Invite someone, tell someone I'm live. Like I said, y'all forgive me for my voice. Your girl is under the weather and it's cold trying to take me out, but I refuse. The next couple weeks, I do have guests. So I wanted to be intentional about getting up here tonight and, going over the cards, because I know Women Supporting Women Wednesdays, we're rolling it back out for 2026. Y'all know I've been doing Women Supporting Women Wednesdays since I dropped the book. So it's no different this year. As we get to the end of the year, I'm all over the place. So I was not able to have guests up here because my schedule has just been crazy. But I will have my first guest next week and then so forth. So I cannot wait to announce the guests for Women Supporting Women Wednesdays and for Survivor Chats, because I do have some men coming up here as well. I'm so excited about that. So let's jump into it. As I told y'all last time we played the mental health game, this is all about sharing, laughing, and healing together. Is a game about mental health. The objective of the card game is to create safe and supportive environments for adults ages 21 and above to explore, discuss, and heal from various traumatic experiences related to childhood, abandonment, molestation, low self-esteem, depression, and so on. Throughout interactive questions and challenges, players can gain awareness and insight into their mental health while fostering a sense of community and support. So I'm going to ask the questions and I'm going to answer them, but y'all feel free to answer the questions below. Respond to the questions below, rather. And let's chime in. Let's play this game. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. So tonight, like I said, we are playing my mental health game and just talking about life, things that, we went through, things that how we grow. And there are, regular questions, but then there are also the color questions, which make you do something, do a different activity. So, drop it in the chat if it's a color you want me to pick outside of just the regular colors. It's, like I said, it's interactive colors, in the game. So if it's a color you want me to pick, drop it below. I will be happy to pick that color. And, I'm just going to pick a random card. So, because I'm playing by myself, so it's a little different. What's going on, boo? Tonight we talking about my mental health card game and playing the game. So y'all respond in the chat and we're going to get into this. So the first question is, how do you communicate your needs to others in relationships? What's going on? Happy Wednesday, y'all. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. We talk about my mental health card game. Hey, boo. I'm a little under the weather, so y'all please forgive my raspy voice, but we're going to make it do what it do, okay? So the question is, how do you communicate your needs to others in relationships? Woo, and please drop the responses in the chat. What's going on? Happy Wednesday, y'all. We're doing the mental health game, my new mental health game that dropped during the holidays. So the question is, how do you communicate your needs to others in relationships? And that is a good question. I communicate my needs. I try to express them, but I'm going to be honest. My default setting is to shut down. So that's something I have to constantly work on. Yes. I have to constantly work on communication. That's been my word for the last, I would say, for 2025 and this year, to communicate. And I have been challenged to communicate in all relationships, business relationships, personal relationships, family, friends, platonic, like all of the above. I've been challenged to communicate. So this question is dead on for me because I tend to not want to communicate. I'd rather just shut down and go keep it pushing and like keep my feelings to myself and deal with it on my own. And then when you wonder why I ain't communicate with you or why I'm not talking, like you don't know why I'm not talking, but I know why I'm not talking. So it's not good. It's not healthy, so it's something I have to work through every day. And it's something I have to be intentional about in the relationships that I'm in. Let's be real. Some situations, it's not even, is it really worth saying stuff sometimes? That's how I feel. That's just me, Oh, y'all said just say it. Okay. I know, but sometimes it's not that easy, especially for me, a person that, I analyze things. I'm processing it like 50 different ways. I'm breaking it apart. And, it causes me to like overanalyze and not even want to talk. I shut down when mad to process before I say the wrong thing. But after that, yes, me too. Me too. Especially if I'm upset, the best thing for me to do is be quiet because this mouth is crazy. Okay. It can get real crazy. So I know myself and I know happy Wednesday. Thank you for joining me tonight. We're doing the mental health game, my mental health game that dropped for the holidays. My communication can definitely go left if I'm mad. So I have to definitely filter. And that's definitely been a coping strategy for me. I had to learn to just shut down, to pause, to breathe. So the question is, how do you communicate your needs to others in relationships? So please feel free to respond in the chat. But for me, like I said, my default setting is to shut down. But sometimes I may have to write it out. I've had times where, if I couldn't write it out, maybe I'll put it in a text and then not send it, but just or put it in my notepad, my memo pad, and my phone. I can do a voice memo also. That's another option. But I've learned to process my feelings and ask myself what's facts and what's real and what's fake. Because just because you feel that way doesn't really mean like that's really what it is. Like that could be my own analogy of it. Like I'm analyzing it and I analyzed it to the point where is that really what's going on? So yeah. Okay. So April said, depends on the person, the subject before speaking sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you on that. Now, if it's like, someone I'm really, really close with, I'm like I say, it's a girlfriend and we have that relationship and I can just say what I need to say, then I'm going to say what I need to say. But if it's like a new, fresh relationship, let's say I'm dating, right? I might not know the best way to say how I'm feeling or what I'm trying to communicate. So a lot of times in that situation, that's when I shut down and I'm like, okay, let me get my thoughts together. Do I want to respond? Do I want to say this? So for me, I'm definitely with April. It depends on the person and what we're talking about. So my communication is something I have to work on. And I think that, because I'm an author, people think that I do a lot of talking or I communicate well or whatever. And sometimes that's not the case. My communication depends and I'm working on it every day to communicate with every person that's in my circle, in my business. I even was shut down at work because I might say something that's not the best, especially being a leader, a woman in leadership. I have to be mindful of what I say because my words have power. All of our words, for that matter, have power, to be honest. But in the sense of leadership, I have to, have a cadence. I have to have poise. I have to be mindful of the words that I'm using because I don't want my employees to be offended. I want my customers to be offended. So I have to really be mindful of like what I'm saying and how I'm communicating, what I'm trying to get through. So, all right. So let me pick another one. All right. What role does forgiveness play in your healing journey? Whew. What role does forgiveness play in your healing journey? Man, forgiveness plays a major role in my forgiveness journey my healing journey. So healing, okay, I got the question mixed up. Forgiveness plays a major role in my healing journey because it's the only way for me to heal is for me to forgive. I have to forgive. Even if I don't forget, major. Yes, I'm with you, Mel. Yes. And I have to forgive in order for me to move forward. So I think, the caveat is huge. Yes, I'm with you, April. In order for you to go to the next step, in order for you to go to the next chapter in your life, you have to forgive. And if you don't forgive, you're going to be stagnant. You're going to be stuck in the same cycle over and over again. It might be just a different person with the same name. Yeah, his name is Johnny, James, and Larry. But because you ain't forgiving that person, you're holding James, Johnny, and James accountable for what Lou did. Right? So it's important to forgive because for me in my healing journey, I know I talked about this in the past. Like, I've been molested. I've been abused mentally, physically, verbally. In order for me to get to where I need to get to and for me to be able to be on a healing journey, I had to forgive those people. If not, I would be harboring emotions and feelings for what happened to me and what this person did to me. And I wouldn't be able to show up as my true self healed if I didn't forgive those people. So for me, forgiveness is extremely important. It's major in my healing journey. And I pray that it's major in yours because it's the only way you can move forward. All right. What are some misconceptions about mental health that you'd like to challenge? What are some misconceptions about mental health that you like to challenge? What's going on? What's up, cuz? Happy Wednesday. Doing my mental health survivor circle game. So the question is, what are some misconceptions about mental health that you like to change? And please drop it in the chat. Any feedback, any thoughts of the question. I would say the misconceptions about mental health is that it looks the same. Everybody that has schizophrenia, bipolar got the same behaviors. Every person that have a mental health diagnosis needs to be in a mental institution. Like, it's so many things. And for those of you that do not know, I am in the mental health field. I'm 22 years plus in the mental health field. I've been doing this for a long time. So I am definitely an expert when it comes to, talking about mental health and talking about, the misconceptions, diagnosis, all of that. Not to mention, I lived it personally. My mother has a mental health diagnosis. I've lived that also. So personally and professionally, I understand mental health on a level that most probably may not. So when it comes to misconception is, this person got to be belligerent. This person got to be yelling and cussing and picking bugs off their skin. When you could be sitting literally next to somebody that's smiling with a smile on their face that has a mental health diagnosis. Or you could be in a grocery store and talking to someone that's very polite and they could have a mental health diagnosis. So it's the misconception is constantly that it looks this way. This person has to be having these behaviors and doing these things. And that's not true. So many people deal with and suffer from mental health diagnosis. And it's important for us to be careful with misconceptions, judging and thinking that we understand or know what somebody is going through, because we may not, And let's be honest, with all the things that's going on right now in society, in this world, people are on edge. People don't know, where their next meal is coming from, where their next paycheck is coming from. And if ICE is coming to get them, like the list goes on, and we're going to be bombed. You know, some people are on edge. And so people may have a mental health diagnosis that don't realize that they have one. And let's be honest, some people have mental health diagnosis that do not admit or even acknowledge that they have a mental health diagnosis. So, you know, it's a big misconception in mental health space across the board. So I think it's so many things that can be said about the misconception of mental health. But it's at an all-time high. It's been at an all-time high since COVID. Or, I mean, really before the end, but COVID made it. It heightened with COVID because people were in the house. People didn't know how to survive and interact with others without being physical or being, you know, face to face with people. So I think that's a challenge. All right. Discuss a time when you felt invalidated or dismissed by a healthcare professional. Whew. Discuss a time when you felt invalidated or dismissed by a healthcare professional. I would say for me, I have felt dismissed by healthcare professionals when it comes to my mom. With my mom having schizophrenia and bipolar, a lot of times they're not listening to what I'm saying. I ain't gonna say a lot of times. Sometimes they have not listened to what I've said. My mom is having these behaviors. My mom is calling me and she's calling me and she's saying these things. But to them, they're like, she has schizophrenia and bipolar. And I'm like, and I'm aware, but these behaviors are normal. These other behaviors that she's doing is typically what she does when she's off. When her medication is not working or she's not taking her medication. So not feeling heard or feeling dismissed when someone has a mental health diagnosis, well, in any profession or any healthcare profession in general is wrong. But in the mental health field, it's extremely challenging because they could be misrepresented. They could be given the wrong medication. They could be placed in the wrong facility, wrong type of facility. I definitely have had moments where I'm like, why is my mom at this hospital? Why is she, y'all discharging her and she should not be discharged? Y'all dismissing what I'm saying about her behaviors, about what she's saying. And then something may happen and then they'll be like, oh, you are right. Yeah, I'm right. I've been dealing with this since I was 5. So I would definitely say in that space, especially dealing with my mother with schizophrenia and bipolar, I have felt dismissed, because I'm the child, you know, for lack of a better word, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just emotional because it's my mother, when in all actuality, I'm a professional in it as well. So I don't typically like throw it around, especially when it comes to my mother's care, because I want to hear what's being said to me. I want to be the person that's being communicated to about it. I want to be open to learning and figuring out what options they may have, because I'm not the one all be all. I don't know everything, you know, and I'm always open to learning and hearing what somebody else has to say. So I come in as my mother's child, like I'm her daughter, I'm her caregiver, I'm her legal guardian. What are your recommendations? What do you recommend for her? What's going on? Happy Wednesday, y'all. We are playing Survivor Circle, my mental health game. And tonight, the question we're on right now is discuss a time when you felt invalidated or dismissed by a healthcare professional. And so, yeah, I am always open to learning and to getting more information. But if I need to say something, literally the last facility she was at last month, I had to literally say, like, what's going on? Y'all not communicating with me. My mom ended up falling. And nobody called me and told me that she fell. The emergency room called me. There's a lack of communication. So it goes back to that card. I had to communicate my feelings and my desires and my expectations to this facility. You know, in certain situations like that, like I don't have a choice. I have to communicate, but I still have to breathe. I still have to process how I'm going to say this, because I don't want to be, quote unquote, a B. I don't want to be considered, angry child, or, them not to talk to me because I'm upset. So I try to be, understanding, and I try to, communicate effectively so that they can hear what I'm trying to say and that I get my point across. But in that situation, I'm like, y'all dropped the ball. Nobody called me. Nobody communicated with me to tell me that she failed. Nobody has called me to tell me how long she's going to be at this facility. Like, what's the plan? What's the process? I haven't talked to nobody. So I kept calling, asking to speak to the supervisor, asked to speak to social workers, until I got to someone that's going to ask. And then I went up there. Like, I need to see my mom face to face, and I need to speak to somebody because y'all are not communicating with me about what's going on. So I definitely felt dismissed at the last facility that she was at. And she was there temporarily to get her stable. But I had to literally sit down with them and like, look, like, this is unprofessional. You're not communicating. You're not telling me what's going on. By law, you have to, because I'm her legal guardian, and the fact that you have not communicated with me is a problem. So what's happening? Or do I need to get some other people involved? So sometimes it's necessary. So, please, if you feel dismissed, if you feel invalidated, please communicate that to the authorities that may be, to the right people. And if you don't feel heard by them, go above them. Everybody has a boss. Everybody has somebody above them. And I refuse, I'll talk about this in my book, I refuse to accept no. So if you tell me no, I'm going to find somebody that's going to tell me yes, or going to explain this to me. So, yeah, that definitely, like, pissed me off, to be honest. So, I haven't even been up here talking about my mom or anything dealing with that. But that situation was extremely frustrating, and alarming. So I had to step in. I had to speak up for my mother and to make sure that she got the adequate care that she needed. All right. The next question is, how do you practice self-compassion when you're feeling low? And please, if you have any responses, drop them in the chat. I would love to dialogue with y'all and have conversation about this. This is the whole point of the game. How do you practice self-compassion when you're feeling low? Man, those of y'all that follow me and that be on, follow my journey, I talk about self-care and self-compassion all the time. I believe in, doing the things that make you happy. I believe in making sure that you check in with yourself. You should be checking in with yourself daily, throughout the day. Especially if you're feeling low, you should definitely be checking in with yourself. If you need to take a break, take a break. I'm definitely a person that take walks. I love walking. I love being outside, which is why I'm sick right now, because I went outside over the weekend. It was beautiful out, and I ain't had no coat on. You know how your mama say, why you think you grown? You ain't got no coat on. That was me, and I'm paying for it right now. But that's my safe space. I love being outside. I love walking. I love, going to museums. I love art. I love fashion. I love music, so concerts. So, and if I can't go to a concert, it don't have to be something that I'm spending money on. I could be outside listening to music on my porch. It's different things you can do. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for joining me tonight. It's different things you can do to, show compassion to yourself, to show up for you. And so, those are some of mine, but it may be other things that you do that you enjoy that may help you in your journey of showing compassion to yourself, especially when you're feeling low. So the question was, how do you practice self-compassion when you're feeling low? And my response is check in. Check in. What do I need? Do I need a second? Do I need a moment? Am I overwhelmed? And if so, why? Getting to the root of the situation sometimes helps also. Because sometimes the way we feel is not real. Like, our feelings are real, but what we are thinking about may not be the real, like, situation. I may be saying, I'm going to lose my job tomorrow, but that's just, you're overthinking it. Like, that's not really the situation. That's not really what's about to happen. So just because you feel that way doesn't mean that's the fact. So I would definitely say that. So, I appreciate y'all. Wanted to get up here. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for joining me tonight. I want to get up here and talk about my cards and, just, play the game with y'all. Got through a couple cards And be sure to go grab the cards at www.aruthproctor.com. Click on the shopping tab and definitely shop the cards. I'll see you on those self-care days. I'm trying to find more time this year for sure. Yes, sis, please take the time for your self-care. It's so important. You know, so many of us are, you know, dying of heart attacks. Stress kills every day. And if we don't take care of ourselves, who is? So please take the time to do what's best for you. Take the time to tap into you and see, what does April need? What does, you know, what do you need? What do you need in the moment? Traveling is something else that I enjoy doing. I try to travel as much as I can. It makes me happy. It brings joy. I can decompress. I can, you know, put my phone on do not disturb if my kids are with me or not. Like, I have to have those moments. So please check in with yourself. Take the time for yourself. It's so, so, so important. As I was telling you all, I have a event coming up for February. I cannot wait to announce it. I hope to see you there. Be sure to RSVP for the event when I drop it. It is going to be limited seating. It's going to be a private event, so you have to RSVP to come. But please pull up. It will be a public event. I said private. It will be a public event. But like I said, please RSVP so we can have adequate amount of seats and space for everybody. But the event will be in February. I cannot wait to announce it. I will be announcing it within the next week or so. And I will be having Women's Supporting Women Wednesdays next week and Survivor Chats the next couple weeks. I got guests coming up here the next couple weeks going into February. So I cannot wait to announce that and announce those guests. And so y'all can hear their story and what their business and their information is all about in their journey. Y'all know I've been doing Women Supporting Women Wednesday since I started. So I'm happy to get back up here and to highlight another guest. So I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for following my journey. Thank y'all so much for continually showing up in this space. Happy Wednesday. And continue to follow my journey. This is not easy at times, you know, being transparent, coming up here talking about real life situations, but it's necessary. It's necessary for every person that's connected, for us all to heal. We don't heal by ourselves. We heal as a community. We heal together as a group. And we heal by allowing others and sharing your story. My testimony is not just for me. It's for somebody else. Something I say tonight may help. Excuse me. Somebody else. So it's important for me to be up here, to get up here and to talk about the cards, to talk about my story, talk about the book, because it may help somebody else. So I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to follow this journey. And I look forward to seeing y'all next week for Women Supporting Women Wednesdays and Survivor Chat here at 9 p.m. next Wednesday. Love y'all. Have a great evening. Peace.